Shalom. Kol Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakat Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, to the Akim doing the work in truth and sincerity, as well as the few Akwat that listen and learn. This is Brother Shawar with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Quick lesson going into the book of Obadiah, but I just wanted to I wanted to get to the point, but I wanted to also read it in the NLT because the NLT gets a little bit more. They both are pretty plain, but we'll read some of it here in the KJV, which is what we primarily use, the King James version, and then I'll get from the 10th verse on down here in the NLT. But this is the judgment that is coming for the nation of Edom. And who is the nation of Edom today? That is the so-called white man, the so-called white people that have dominion over the planet Earth today. They are in rulership. And this the first two or first couple verses in this chapter will pretty much help identify that as well. And there's many other verses in the scriptures, other books and verses in the scriptures that will explain and identify who Esau Edom is. And by process of elimination, it's most definitely the so-called white man. And, the topic of discussion is heavy right now. The spirit has it to where, people, a lot of Jake are, inquiring about this Kanye West thing, about him saying the true Jews are so-called black, which he's right about that. The so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites. We are the Israelites. But he's only given like partial truths. But that's another discussion. It's pretty much it's a psyop. But this proves that those imposters in the land today, which they are Edomites, Amalek to be exact, a tribe of the nation of Edom. They are not the true people of the Lord, because this hasn't taken place yet, and and they don't fit none of the prophecies, and then especially when we read this, you'll see that this is not going to fit, because if they're the people of the Lord, man, then that means this has already happened, and the rest of the prophecies that are to be fulfilled are supposed to be fulfilled, and Yahweh Shai is supposed to be there, and King David, and there's just a bunch of holes in that claim, man. But let's get to it, man. Let's start from the top. This is Obadiah 1 and 1, and it reads, "The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, say the Lord." And this is describing the so-called white man today. And if you can't see it, then, you're either just blinded, you're ignoring it, or you're in denial. And, but really, ultimately, the Lord is blinding you. But this is describing Esau Edom to a T. Job 9:24 tells us the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and these devils have dominion over the earth. And in their mind, their heart, meaning their lab, the Hebrew word for mind, when you go into heart, it's really lab, which means mind. In their mind, they say, they think they're untouchable. They think their kingdom is going to be, standing forever. They think they're going to be ruling forever. They think they're going to beat Yahweh Shai. They think they're going to beat these prophecies. And then they were the nation that dwelt in the clefts of the rocks, Mount Seir, man. Caucasians, cave dwellers, which is really what that goes back to. That's the Edomites, right? And that's facts. That's not no. At this point, that's pretty much common knowledge, right? And then dealing with the eagle, what's one of America's main, symbols that they use is the eagle, right? And then they have when it says and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, say the Lord. They're trying to establish they have a space force, these satellites up, they're trying to get to the heavens and all, and this, that, and the third. They're just extremely proud, man, and they exalt themselves as if they are the Most High. But they're what? The son of perdition. And let's get a precept on that quick. And pretty sure it's Second Thessalonians. Might be first, but I think it's pretty sure, yeah, Second Thessalonians 2 and 3, and it reads, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." And this is what's happening. These Edomites are being found out, and the men of the Lord, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, even going before them, with their elders, Abba Bivens, High Priest Ariah, High Priest Yaquab, so on and so forth, man. They've been bringing out the truth on who the so-called white man is, from the 60s and 70s. And now it's been the information and the evidence has been, more and more overwhelming throughout the years due to us being in the information age, the internet, the unicorn, and you have the mass awakening of the Israelites, the prophets. So everything is just becoming too much, and these devils are gonna, they're gonna be found out, man. They're being revealed. And now this thing you see, and Kanye is not no prophet, Kanye is not a man of the Lord, but this particular talking point is important because it's gonna shine a light, on that question, who are these people, man? Because these people are not the people of the Lord. So they will be found out. So let's read a little bit more of this and then go back to Obadiah. Verse 4, "Who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." And that's exactly how they operate. That's exactly what they think, and that's how they move. Right? They're prideful, man. But the scriptures tell us that pride cometh before destruction. So, and the destruction is definitely coming. So I wanted to jump to the 10th chapter and then read to the 18th verse. No, Slack at the 10th verse, and then read to the 18th verse. But I wanted to do it, like I said, in the NLT. So let's get that. Just get this real quick. I don't want to make this too long. So it says reasons for Edom's punishment. And this has not happened yet, man. This hasn't happened yet. The Edomites are still here ruling. And you'll see when we get to, it says, the 14th to 15th verse, Edom destroyed, Israel restored. So it's synonymous, the Edomites' extermination and then destruction is synonymous with the Israelites being restored, the kingdom of heaven being established, which we know is not coming until when? Until Yahushua comes to bring it, to establish that on earth, man. Until Esau, so people will understand, until this current wicked kingdom is destroyed, that's not going to happen. Israel's not going to be restored until this captivity we're living in is over. So therefore, it's impossible for these, imposters to be the Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans. And of course, the Israelite foreigners, whose seed goes back to that of an Israelite, but they've been scattered amongst the other nations. Right? So let's read this from 9 to 18, and then we'll close it out. So Obadiah 1-9, and it reads, the mightiest warriors of Teman will be terrified. Teman is a tribe of Esau, Edom. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it's dealing with the Germans. Particularly they're the Germans, more or less, because the Temanites were smart, and the Germans, they invent a lot of things, and like a lot of the cars and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just another tribe of these devils, Esau, Edom. So Obadiah 1-9, the mightiest warriors of Teman will be terrified, and every one of the mountains of Esau, so the house, the governments of Esau, of Edom, Salakia, and every one of the mountains of Edom will be cut down in the slaughter. Right. Verse 10, because of the violence you did to your close relatives in Israel, you will be filled with shame and destroyed forever. Right, because what Jacob and Esau were brothers, right? But going back to Genesis, the Lord told Rebekah that two nations were in her womb, and the older shall serve the younger, and one shall be stronger than the other, that being Jacob, hence the Israelites. Right? So he was always made, Esau's destiny was always to be pretty much a servant. Because there was two nations that were, prophesied to rule the world, which is the Edomites and then the Israelites. But Esau was always going to end up serving Jacob and then ultimately be destroyed. That was, from the beginning, that was written. And now they've got their chance to rule, and we've seen this wicked rulership. So now Jacob's, the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites' kingdom is coming, right after this kingdom is destroyed. By the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So for the violence they did to Israel, it says you will be filled with shame and destroyed forever. And right, man, and that's well documented, man. That was the worst captivity known to man that they put the Israelites through. And it was more than just the southern kingdom. It was more than your Negro tribes. The northern kingdom too, man. Native Americans and the Latin tribes. Verse 11, when they were invaded, you stood aloof, refusing to help them. Or when they were invaded, you stood aloof, refusing to help them. Foreign invaders carried off their wealth and cast lots to divide up Jerusalem, but you acted like one of Israel's enemies. You should not have gloated when they exiled your relatives to distant lands. You should not have rejoiced when the people of Judah suffered such misfortune. You should not have spoken arrogantly in that terrible time of trouble. And that goes to these other heathen nations as well, because they pretty much, they saw what was happening to the Israelites, and they didn't do anything about it. They didn't, they knew they were the people of the Lord, but they didn't step into to help or anything. And matter of fact, they a lot of these other nations, these heathen nations, played a part in it. And they helped, perpetuate the downfall of the Israelites, of the 12 tribes, especially in these times, man. And that's in matter of fact, let's get it real quick. It's in Psalms. Pretty sure it's 82nd chapter. Oh no, 83rd, Salakia. Yeah, Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Right? So, and it gives you the nations, pretty much all these other nations that was, that played a role, man, in just the keeping the Israelites at a lower state and the downfall of our people, which ultimately it's our punishment for going against the Lord. Is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai doing it, but the Lord is so, the Lord is he's so almighty and powerful that this is his story, so he can use, these Edomites and these heathen nations to judge his people, and then turn around and judge these Edomites and these heathen nations for judging his people. But they were unjust, man. It was an unjust, captivity and slavery that we went through, man. Esau took it to a whole nother level. Let's continue reading. Verse 13. You should not have plundered the land of Israel when they were suffering such calamity. You should not have gloated over their destruction when they were suffering such calamity. And keep in mind, Israel is a people before it's a place. Because we've been scattered, and we were taken out of our homeland. So now, Israel is, it's spiritual, man. We're a people before a place. It's not necessarily talking about the actual land. You should not have seized their wealth when they were suffering such calamity. You should not have stood at the crossroads, killing those who tried to escape. You should not have captured the survivors and handed them over in their terrible time of trouble. And this is the main point I wanted to get. This is pretty much, this is the undeniable part. You can't deny this. It says Edom destroyed, Israel restored. Verse 15, Obadiah 1 and 15. The day is near when I, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, will judge all godless nations as you have done to Israel. And that's the same thing I was just saying. So it will be done to you. All your evil deeds will fall back on your own heads. And that just goes to show you, man, this is the Lord's movie. We are all subject to prophecy. We are all subject to the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why it's important for us to pray and to, ask the Lord to keep the spirit on us. Take not that spirit away from us, as King David did. Because he understood that, man. It's all of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. And also to pray to keep the spirit on us to endure unto the very end. Verse 16, just as you swallowed up my people on my holy mountain, so you and the surrounding nations will swallow the punishment I pour out on you. Yes, all you nations will drink and stagger and disappear from history. But Jerusalem will become a refuge for those who escape. It will be a holy place. And just to clear this up, the heathen nations, except for the exception of Esau, Edom, they're not going to all be done away with. They will serve out a captivity, pursuant to Isaiah 14 and 2, as well as Revelation 18. They will serve out double what they did unto us. So they're going to serve out a 1,000-year period of slavery. And the difference is with these heathen nations that they will go back into the lands and dwell under the jurisdiction of the 144,000 and the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And but Edom is going to be the only nation that's completely done away with after that 1,000-year sentence of slavery, that 1,000 years of captivity. Verse 17. But Jerusalem will become a refuge for those who escape. It will be a holy place, and the people of Israel will come back to reclaim their inheritance. This has not happened, man. This is yet to happen. And this is the this is the big one, man. Pretty much we can end the lesson after reading this, and this is beautiful. This is the one I really wanted to get the point. Obadiah 1 and 18. The people of Israel will be a raging fire, and Edom a field of dry stubble. The descendants of Joseph a flame, or the descendants of Joseph will be a flame, roaring across the field, devouring everything. There will be no survivors in Edom. The Lord, have spoken. Let's read that one more time, man. Obadiah 1:18. The people of Israel, dealing with the southern kingdom, will be a raging fire, and Edom a field of dry stubble. The descendants of Joseph, which is the northern kingdom, so all 12 tribes, will be a flame roaring across the field, devouring everything. There will be no survivors in Edom. I, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, have spoken. So there you go, man. There's nothing else to read. That's the judgment for these devils, and that's why they're gonna fight tooth and nail to keep this kingdom running, to go against the grain. But really, they're all, like I said, we're all subject to the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the victory is already written, and so is their judgment, man. So we just gotta, continue to have faith and continue to stay the course, man, and trust in the Lord, because we're almost out of here, right? So Lord willing, this is edifying, and it did what it was supposed to do in the spirit. But I'm gonna close it out and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and the Bible Ball.